My name is Christine Avey, and I am president of Idaho Women's Charitable Foundation. Thank you for joining our first ever virtual annual party / anniversary celebration / birthday party. Hopefully first and last. Next year, we're gonna have 2 parties and we're gonna do them all in person. Tonight, we are doing this webinar style. So I believe we might have up to 120 guests online. For those of you who are guests, you will be able to see there are, well, 4 speakers, 5 panelists, and you will be able to see us depending on your view, if you have speaker view or I think it's, let's see, there's speaker view and there's gallery view in your upper right-hand corner. All of you have been muted, and so if you do have any questions along the way, please put those at the bottom of the screen. There is both a chat and a Q&A button. We prefer chat, and if you send it to all the panelists or to everyone on the call, that's fine, and we will, when appropriate, answer those questions. And then hopefully everything will go smoothly, and we have a great evening planned for tonight. So I will start off by sharing our agenda. Basically, tonight's meeting will be broken out into 3 sections. We'll start out with the annual meeting business portion, and then we will move into the grants presentation, which Jen Sampson will take over. And also you will be able to view some really extraordinarily inspiring grantee videos from all of our grantees of this year. And then at the end, we will celebrate all of our anniversaries, and Linda Riley, she will be presenting that portion. So we will be celebrating our 1, 3, 6, 10, and 15-year member milestones. So we have a lot to cover in an hour, so I hope everyone is comfortable and that you have a beverage of choice and some popcorn or whatever your snack is, and just sit back and enjoy the evening. Thank you. So starting off, how do we kind of summarize this last year? I think a fiscal year, it goes July 1 to June 30th. And I think the March to June seems like about a year in and of itself. So what I will share, first of all, is that despite 2020, we had a very strong year as an organization. We had stable financials. We had over 400 members renew. The first 2/3 of the fiscal year, if you can remember that far back, we had all kinds of in-person events. We had education sessions. We had grantee seminars. We had member socials, volunteer opportunities, visits to grantees. I mean, we had all kinds of stuff going on. And all of that was fun and extraordinary. And I hopefully we can all remember back that far. But then we were in the middle of the grant cycle in March, like full on, 80 volunteers working on the grant cycle. And then the pandemic hit, and then the good news is that we quickly transitioned to a virtual operating model. So our staff started working from home, our committees started meeting remotely, and all the grantee members, like all the grants volunteers, all 80 of them, figured out a way, and Jen Sampson did an extraordinary job in creating webinars to finish out the session. And I was a little bit worried that we might lose some of our membership engagement during that period, but I'm so pleased to say that we had everybody stepped up, everybody remained engaged, everybody stayed educated, and with that, we had 98% of our members who participated in the grants vote at the end, which was amazing. And then we were able, because of our membership, we had over 400 members renew, we were able to give out over $215,000 in pooled grants and almost $190,000 in individual grant designations this last year, which, as you can imagine, at the beginning of the pandemic, with all the uncertainty that was happening in the world, that was a true gift. So thank you for sticking in with us. The other things that we did this year that really were happening on their own anyway, it had nothing to do with 2020, but we did create a new board position, a diversity, equity, and inclusion chair. And that is something that's very exciting. And then we had payment plans that started this year, both a 6 and a 12-month option, to try to make our membership more accessible to people who might not otherwise be able to join. And then we always have to remember to thank the people who started our endowment and have funded our endowment in terms of thinking about long-term sustainability. Because although we saw a slight dip at one point in this year, it really, I will say, we are in a very good place as an organization, and it's because of every single one of you. It's because of our founding members. It's because of all the leaders along the way and the trust that has been placed in this organization. So despite a very uncertain year, it was a very good year, and it's all because of you. So thank you. So next, I am going to introduce Amber Myrick, our secretary, who is going to, as secretary, is going to share the ballot results. Thank you.
Hello, all. As secretary for Idaho Women's Charitable Foundation, I have verified the votes of the membership included on the annual membership balloting, which are the approval of the minutes of the 2019 annual meeting, the results of the 2020 pooled grants, the election of the new directors, and approval of the 2020-2021 Board of Directors slate, and the approval of the 2020-2021 annual budget.
Thank you. So then, as part of that, I would like to introduce our current board of directors. I will not go and name every single person. You can read the names and look at pictures, but this is our current board of directors. And I will say I am so grateful for every member on our board. During this crazy time, we have people who are forward thinking, who are not scared, who think out of the box, who are willing to try something new, and looking for the right thing to do in a situation. And that's every single person on the board. So I would like to give a virtual round of applause to everyone. And along those lines, we are actually starting, as early as it is, our slating process for next year. So if there's somebody on the call who is interested in serving in a leadership role at IWCF, please contact myself or Laura Simic. It's a great opportunity, and it's fun, and everybody cares a lot and gives gives whatever their gift is. So if that's something that interests you, please do reach out. Don't be shy, or nominate a friend if you have a friend who might be good at joining. And then I also want to thank 3 of our extraordinary retiring board members. The names, of course, will be familiar to all of you: Molly Gunther, Heather Haregi, and Kim Liebeck. And all 3 of them, of course, they're not retired from HP, or for HP, oh my goodness, from IWCF, but they are people who have made such an extraordinary difference in our organization over many, many years. And so I would be remiss if I had not acknowledged them. And I just thank you for your many years of incredible service and leadership. So thank you. All right, so looking forward to 2021. I think all of us are looking forward to a new year. And I will tell you that first and foremost, we will be operating in a virtual model, probably at least into the early part of 2021. So when our calendar got sent out, you saw a whole bunch of new events, and we will probably plan to operate virtually for even a little bit longer than the calendar. We have amazing, amazing things that are planned from all of our different committees. Obviously, grants, education, membership, DEI with their unconscious bias for conscious philanthropist workshops. The endowment committee is planning a session in November. There is so much, and there's small, fun social gatherings, and there's a little bit more meaty, substantive ones. So whatever interests you, please come to them and invite your friends, because we are still reliant on more members so that we can make a bigger impact. And I know it's a hard time because it's not face-to-face, but it's an easy time because you can do it from your own home. So invite your friends. There's no cost to any of these events. See if it's something that you think might be a good fit for them, and just keep an eye on our website and on the calendar to see what is of interest to you. The one really big change this year that we are putting into place is around our membership. So this has been a challenging year for all of us, and I know that for some people it could also be financially challenging. So what we have decided to do for this year only, or as a pilot for this year, is offer 2 membership options. So we'll have our standard regular $11.25 membership option, where $500 goes towards pooled funds, $500 of IGDs, individual grant designations, and the remainder to our administrative fees. The second membership option that we are offering this year, which anyone can participate in, it will be at a $625 level. So basically, it will still have the pooled fund component and the administrative component, but what will be optional is the individual grant designations. And that's not to say that IGDs don't matter, because we know it made a huge, huge amount of difference to nonprofits in our community, especially this spring. However, I think that people are generous, and if you want to choose to do your giving independently, not through IWCF, this is a very good option for anybody who feels like that is a better level for them. The membership, otherwise, there's no difference in membership, everybody's equal. And then the other thing that this opportunity might give is a little bit of a window for you to invite your friends, family, I mean, a spouse, kids, anyone who might be interested in getting to know IWCF at this level. So please, it's available for everyone. And as we start a renewal period in later this fall, more information will be sent out. But again, we are generous and caring and educated, and we are going to continue to do good. And we know that in the last 19 years, we have given over $4.8 million. Now moving into our 20th year, we will cross that $5 million milestone. So it's going to be a big and exciting year for us. And we have a lot of good coming. So thank you very much. Thanks for being there. Thanks for supporting us. And now we are going to move to the more fun part of the presentation, which of course is Jen Sampson, because she's always fun. And she'll be talking about grants. So thank you.
I appreciate that. Let me just make sure my video is working here. I just wanted to say hello, and this section of our annual meeting will be titled, "I'm Not Crying, You're Crying," because some of the videos that you'll see and the information that I'm going to share with you is just truly inspiring, especially for this year in particular. We're going to start out with a snippet. For those of you that were able to join us in August, we had a grants webinar education session with some of our previous grants participants. They joined us along with David Pettyjohn from the Idaho Humanities Council just to talk about 2020, how it's going. And I thought that this was a great way to encapsulate what they said. So I'm going to have Jenna play that, and I hope you enjoy it, and then we'll get back to talk about this year's recipients.
So Diane asked, and to our panelists, because you're out here on the front lines doing this work that the rest of us are not doing, what do you say to yourself every morning when you get out of bed to keep yourself going? We'll start with you, Mark, or Dan, we'll start with you. You were quick on the button. It's like press your luck here.
I love that question with it, because literally every day now, I think I wake up and I say the serenity prayer. God, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change and the courage to change the things I can. And I think that for me, it literally is a one day at a time. Okay, what can I focus on today? What difference can we make today? What is the need we can address today? And literally, because I think that has been another part of this that has been so difficult with COVID, is uncertainty. We don't know what tomorrow's going to be. And so all as I have or what I can deal with is just today. And so literally it is that every day. Okay, give me the courage to change that I can.
But my answer was going to be, there's wine at the end of the day, but that's probably not what you're looking for.
Hey, whatever works, Mark, whatever works.
No, I would say, you know, it's interesting. My job title, general director, that's a specific opera kind of term, but to make it more understandable, I'm both the executive director and the artistic director. And I would say that certainly since mid-March, instead of about a 50-50 split of that time, which really works well for me personally, I get to do artistic things, I get to do business things. It's been about 90% executive director and 10%, if that, dealing with artistic things. So it's been an interesting time in my work life. I can't think of a time when it's been like that in 40 years of working in this industry. So, I think I try to listen to a little more music than I would normally, a little more opera, even jazz, whatever. Normally, I don't spend a lot of personal time doing that because I have to do so much of it in my work life, but I have found that to get the balance back, I just need to listen more and or watch.
I'll just call on you if you don't unmute yourself. Okay, Tom, what do you say to yourself every day?
Well, I mean, I'm lucky. I don't have to talk myself into coming to work. There's so much to do, and it's always so interesting. But if I were to pick one thing, it would be, it's the 61 other people who work here that inspire me so much. I mean, think about, typically, our typical employee would be a nurse who works 12-hour shifts. These are a pain to wear when you're at the grocery store for half an hour, right? So, and I'm lucky because I'm in an office, so there's a lot of the day that I don't have to wear this, but whenever I'm out, I do. And every single one of our employees, is in patient care. They're wearing this all day long. So they inspire me. And, it's like Jack Nicholson told Helen Hunt in that movie, you make me want to be a better man. They make me want to be a better leader. And so it's an honor to come here and serve them.
I want to go right after Tom because I would say that's what gets me out of bed too. I'm so inspired by the bravery of my staff and just that, like everything that we've been called on to do, they just step up with their chins up and say, let's do this. And we have to keep pivoting and we can't keep having to problem solve. And I can't believe we're pulling it off, but we are because of the fierce courage of my staff and then my guests. I knock on wood every time I say this, but at our shelter, the open warehouse shelter where we're serving over 200 people a day, we've not had one COVID positive test. And it's not because we're so good at our jobs, it's because our guests care so much for each other and for us. And so it's almost, it makes me tear up when I see just how respectful they are of this process. Homelessness is terribly uncomfortable. Add COVID to it, and these are brave, compassionate human beings that I jump out of bed in the morning to serve.
I want to jump off of that because, and this, I get what you're saying. It makes you tear up. And I've always thought this about my job. Even when I was an executive director, I've had many positions at Learning Lab. But one of the things that I have been so fortunate is because I get to see the best in people, always. And when you are often, our news screens and our newspapers are filled with what's not the best in people, I get to see harmony and people caring about each other, no matter skin color, culture, religion, no matter what. And I feel so lucky that I see the best in people. And I think when you see that, that's what you also look for. And that's what I try to keep in mind on days when are harder than others, is to look for the gems, to look for the good in others, because that provides the fuel to keep going. And some days we all know we just don't feel like it, but we have to.
And I'll just say, I wake up every day thankful, thankful for the opportunity to come to work to help people. I realize that there is a lot of hurt going on right now. And I have been afforded this amazing opportunity to meet people for the first time today, even on this call, and learn about these resources. And that I get to, in my small way here at the Humanities Council, working with amazing staff and amazing board, try to help people out. And I think we all have days where it's a challenge. I have days where I don't spring out of bed. I wish every day I could, but it is kind of the overlying notion of just how truly fortunate that I get to do this for a living.
I think that if you'd like to see the entire conversation, it's on the IWCF website. And along with David, in case you didn't recognize some of our panelists, that was Mark Junkert from Upper Idaho, Jody Peterson-Steigers from Interfaith Sanctuary, Monique Smith from the Learning Lab, Tom Reinhardt from Cascade Medical Center, and Dan Pringsing from Wasserman. All past grant recipients in the last 3 years, so they're still in our cycle. And I just think it was a great conversation to remind us that what we do is very, very impactful in the community. And so with that, let's talk about this year. We distributed, as Christine said, a little over $215,000. We impacted 6 counties in Idaho. And that, as it kind of works out from our proposals, that's over 175 families, 8,000 students, 1,000 teens and adults. And I love that the Botanical Garden received a grant because over 50,000 people who will visit and look at the exhibit there. Even more exciting though, we engaged over 80 members of IWCF on our grants committee, on the grants assessment, grant steering, business and finance, or just members that lent a helping hand through the process. And as Christine mentioned, we had 391 of our members vote, which is fantastic. This is a total of almost $2.5 million we've given back to Southwestern Idaho in the last 20 years. So let's talk about this year. We'll start off with the McCall Music Society received a grant for $26,000 in cultural arts. They are developing and expanding the High Mountain Strings Rural Youth Orchestra by purchasing additional instruments and underwriting strings instruction for local youth in Adams and Valley County. And then we'll move on to Wasma Center for Human Rights, received a $30,000 grant. You'll actually see part of this. It's already come to fruition, but we assisted with the development of a Being Up Standard toolkit. IWCF produced a film and helped with the curriculum to be distributed to Idaho students. In the environment, as I mentioned, the Idaho Botanical Garden received a grant for a little over $20,000 to underwrite a water conservation stewardship initiative, which upgrades the irrigation systems at the garden to allow for better conservation of water. And in financial stability, we had 2 recipients this year. The Boise Bike Project with a grant for $27,500, which will fund the expansion of Project Kickstand. And you'll hear Jimmy talk about that a little bit later. But that will complete a comprehensive satellite bike shop at the Idaho Department of Corrections Men's Facility. And also with financial stability, we have LEAP Charities received a grant for $25,000, and this expands their Home Ownership for All program, which works with the most vulnerable populations to help them gain access to stable and affordable homes. And the funds are used to assist with program expenses, including interpreters, moving supplies, truck rentals. And you'll hear a little bit more. There's some in the video about what LEAP is doing, and they have a twist at the end. So make sure you listen to the whole segment. And then in health, you heard Tom Reinhardt talk a little bit, but Cascade Medical Center received a grant for $30,000. This is in Cascade. The grant is to improve rural health comes through behavioral health care integration. And these funds are specifically used to pay for a physician's assistant specializing in behavioral health care or mental health. And in our rural communities category, the Idaho Association for the Education of Young Children received a grant. They also got the award for the most precise grant request at $51,981. But that's to expand the Ready for Kindergarten initiative that offers parent education workshops to families with young children. And this expansion includes areas where they have not previously been able to go just because of lack of funds. And with that, would you pause it, Jenna? I'd just like to introduce, we have, you'll see a video. This is all of our grant recipients except Wasmuth. We'll do them at the very end, but please enjoy them talking a little bit about where they're at in the process and what you can look forward to this upcoming year.
Happy September, Idaho Women's Charitable Foundation. This is Bart Cochran, the Executive Director and Founder of LEAP Housing Solutions. We are a 2020 grant recipient for our Yes You Can program. The Yes You Can program helps would-be homeowners overcome barriers, specifically targeting low-income families. And so I just want to share some updates with you about the program, specifically some statistics. So since May, since the grant was received, we've had 36 intakes, 7 closings, 3 contracts that are pending, they're under contract, and 7 folks who are actually out shopping, looking for a home. So really great news on that front. Also want to share the launch of Caritas Commons. This made the news over the past couple of months in partnership with St. Alphonsus. This is a 14-unit subdivision created specifically for purchase by low-income households. And also we've got a second phase that we're working on. We've launched a capital campaign, a project in West Boise. It'll be a 12-unit project. And for more information on that capital campaign, please go to finallyaffordable.org or our website, leaphousing.org as well. And just one really fun fact, we've got our first alumni is selling their home and rolling their equity forward to be able to purchase a little larger home to support their growing family. The neat part about that is they're taking $60,000 of equity from their first home that they purchased in 2018 through the Yes You Can program, and they're rolling that forward. So there it is. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Appreciate you, and stay safe. We'll look forward to more updates in the future. Bye.
Hi, my name is Haley Mychalk, and I'm the director of the Ready for Kindergarten program at the Idaho Association for the Education of Young Children. And I just wanted to thank you again for choosing us as an award recipient this year. At this time, we haven't spent any of our money yet. I am still working on finding a comfortable time for the different schools to begin workshops. And once school gets started, the different schools have said that they are definitely going to begin getting everything ready. They just want to get school started first because this year is, so up in the air. But I've been in conversations with Emmett and Marcin and Notice, and everybody is so excited to get started, and they can't wait to offer the Ready for Kindergarten program to their parents because, as we all know right now, everybody needs support more than ever. And especially in these smaller communities across Idaho, we have families who are really looking for extra support due to childcare closures or schools being online, and just general concern for their children's well-being. And I'm so fortunate to be able to offer these programs to parents across Idaho. So I know for sure that we will be definitely well underway having workshops for families before Thanksgiving. And we're so excited again, and thank you for this amazing opportunity to share with families in Idaho who wouldn't otherwise be able to participate. So we will definitely give you a program update as soon as we have more information and dates solidified. And you're always welcome. That some of the workshops might be virtual this year. So if you want to sit in on one, you're always welcome to. The more the merrier, right? So again, thank you for this opportunity, and we look forward to chatting with you soon. Bye.
Hello, I'm Suzanne Paisley, board member of the McCall Music Society. And first, I'm here to say thank you, the membership of the Idaho Women's Charitable Foundation, for believing in our High Mountain Strings program and our cello viola edition. To date, we have focused our time on purchasing cellos for the program, and at this time we have 1 full-size cello, 4 1/4 size cello, and 3 1/8 size cellos, along with their protective cases. In the future, we'll be getting an additional half size and full size to accommodate our students as they grow. And this summer, we have 2 cello students. I will show you their pictures on my iPhone. They are Mia and Frederick. And they, along with our violin students, continue to get lessons online every week for 20 minutes. And they have been doing this since March, some of them, when the pandemic broke out and ceased all school activities. Janelle Darrow, our instructor, has a wonderful quote, and I would like to share this with you. She says, "Playing a musical instrument strengthens eye-hand coordination and fine motor skills. And kids who study an instrument learn a lot about discipline, dedication, and hard work." Thank you again for helping us and providing additional musical educational opportunities to the youth of Valley and Adams County. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Halliburton. I'm the founder and executive director of the Voice of Bicycle Project, and today I am really excited to introduce you to our new Shifting Gears coordinator.
Hi, my name is Dan Linehan. I'm the new Shifting Gears coordinator, which means that through your generous grant, I will be our full-time coordinator for the women's South and East facilities outside of Boise here, as well as the men's South facility as well, which is the realization of the Project Kickstand grant. We've got some challenges to deal with, and yet we've got some wonderful folks in the Idaho Department of Correction that are working so enthusiastically with us. We see a lot of positive ends in process already.
For those who might not remember, Project Kickstand is all about teaching some of our male inmates how to work on bicycles. This will help them earn a bicycle for when they're released, but also help them learn job skills in the process that they can use for when they get out to not only get to where they need to go looking for jobs, but also find those jobs in the bicycle industry in general. As you can imagine, it's been a tough year at the prisons, just like everywhere else with COVID. And a lot of our men and a lot of our women are on lockdown right now. And so their participation in the programs have been less than what we would like it to be. But we're so excited to have this opportunity to have Dan here to create curriculum, to create education, so that the second that those programs are ready to go again, we'll be right in there and ready to teach them these job skills. Now, people are still getting out of prisons, and one of the things we're really excited about is we're still able to get them bicycles. Getting out of prison right now is more challenging than ever, looking for a job and doing all these different things. And we realize that transportation is a huge barrier. So even though some of our programs have downsized with the stuff going on with COVID, we've still been able to create that connection to the community, and we've been able to do that with your help. So I just want to say thank you one more time for helping us help these individuals overcome these barriers, and we can't wait as things start to get back to a little bit more of a normal to get these programs back in place and strong as they ever could have been.
Good morning, Idaho Women's Charitable Fund. My name is Tom Reinhardt. I'm the CEO of Cascade Medical Center. I want to thank you so much for supporting our organization with a very generous grant. Our mission up here every day, we're committed to helping people live better lives. And that includes meeting people where they are in whatever circumstances they find themselves, body, mind, and spirit. And about a year and a half ago, we certainly recognized the huge unmet need for mental health, counseling, and services here in the greater Cascade area. And then we set about to solve that problem, and we're lucky enough to be able to find Jamie Coffey Kelly. Jamie is a licensed clinical social worker, and she came on board in May of 2019 to help us address that issue. So with that, let me introduce to you Jamie Coffey Kelly.
Hello. My name, like you said, is Jamie Coffey Kelly. I have been here since May. They interviewed with me and asked me to come on for the counseling and integrated behavioral health. Integrated behavioral health is working with the providers at the primary care level, working with them to help people improve their health by changing their behaviors. Behaviors such as smoking, related to diabetes, hypertension, obesity. When we work with them together with the providers as a whole person care, we can make changes that affect not only their health, but also their mental health. During this time, this about year and a half, we recognized that there was some additional needs for more providers, as well as the medication management piece that the primary care providers were doing. We looked around for a person that can fulfill the role for both medication management as well as the provider piece for the mental health counseling. And that was where we found Courtney Hill. Courtney Hill is a PA, and she also has a great background in behavioral health.
Good morning. My name is Courtney Hill. I've been practicing as a physician in the state of Idaho for the last 13 years. I'm very blessed to have started my career in Pocatello, Idaho, where there is an inpatient behavioral health unit, and I was the full-time physician assistant working there, as well as the outpatient clinic. And this opportunity really helped me grow my love for helping mental health patients, both with medications and counseling and just supporting them. And so after that opportunity to kind of progress my education in psychiatric medication treatment, as well as counseling and working in a dual diagnosis intensive outpatient therapy group, I've since then been working in family medicine, emphasizing on mental health. I've also kind of grown in this arena with more opioid addiction and dependence, and working with Suboxone and helping patients in that area as well. I really enjoy this line of work, or that area of medicine, and helping these patients that feel sometimes like there's nobody there for them, so that I can maybe just be an advocate for them and support them. And so now, thank you for this opportunity to bring me here to help Cascade, and as Tom said, the greater community, and providing them services and helping them with their psychiatric medications where they don't have to travel, or the financial burden of going to McCall and the Boise area. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's great to have you here. And thank you, Idaho Women's Charitable Fund, for your support of our organization and being able to continue to grow and meet the needs of people in our community.
We at the Idaho Botanical Garden are grateful for the support from the Idaho Women's Charitable Foundation, which is aiding our conservation and education efforts. Gardening responsibly by taking into account our soils, climate, and wildlife, and teaching others to do so, are the driving forces behind our horticulture and education programs. This project will help us to meet our mission. Your grant will allow us to conserve water by making possible the installation and utilization of water-efficient sprinklers, the tracking of how much water is being used in different areas, and the data from our new on-site weather stations to help us determine how much water to apply and when. With this in place, we can better educate landscape professionals and homeowners on optimal irrigation techniques using our upgraded system as an example. The addition of an exhibit showing water-wise irrigation system alternatives, which will use the actual parts to illustrate what is needed, will help provide concrete examples to people to help them understand what is needed. This exhibit will be available to the public at all times and will be seen by both people enrolled in the garden's irrigation classes, as well as those visiting the Idaho Botanical Garden for other reasons. The advent of the pandemic and the reduction in our staff size has delayed the project. Our plans are to compress the timeline, and we fully expect to finish on time. We've begun purchasing water-efficient sprinklers and also their installation, and are currently planning the irrigation exhibit. Thank you very much for believing in the Idaho Botanical Garden and this project.
So I have just replaced this nozzle here. This is an older, much higher output nozzle for this sprinkler head, and this guy that I just replaced is a Hunter MP rotator. They look like this, and these guys give a much more even coverage, as well as use the water more efficiently, so we're able to reduce the amount of irrigation that we put out in our children's garden and other areas over time.
So that is several of our grantees from this year. And I want to just acknowledge, and we have some members from McCall Music Society, Leap Charities, Boise Bike Project, the Idaho Botanical Garden that are on the call with us. So thank you for joining us. And even more so, thank you to all of our grant recipients for all the great work you're doing. Before I introduce our last video, which is from the Wasserman Center for Human Rights, I just want to mention that our grants application is live. So it is a great time to tell your favorite nonprofit to apply. It's on our website. We have some nonprofit education sessions coming up. The great part about being virtual is we can reach potentially more of our members and more of our nonprofits just through our information on our website and through our virtual gatherings. So please spread the word. We've also added a county this year. So Camas County, it will be part of our grant funding area. So if you have a favorite nonprofit that's there, please let them know. And then I'd like to just introduce the Wasserman Center's video. This is funded 100% by their grant money this year. We're getting the first look. It will be previewed next week at their virtual Change the World celebration, and everything is completed and ready to be distributed on October 1st. So enjoy this, and right after the video, Linda Riley from membership will be giving our membership update.
The world is a dangerous place to live in, not because of people who are evil, but because of the people who don't do anything about it. Albert Einstein.
What does that mean?
It basically means to be an upstander when faced with a difficult situation. Does anyone here know what an upstander is?
Is it the opposite of being a bystander?
Exactly. Upstanders are those who recognize a wrong and take action to make it right. How about we take a closer look? An upstander acts when he or she hears an injustice.
Hey, by the way, your hair looks good today. Thank you. Yeah, of course. Hey, did you see Terry stumbling through the hallway earlier? What a retard.
The first step is to ask, did they know what that word means? Did they intend to be hurtful?
Hey, did you realize that word makes fun of people with disabilities? What?
Choose. Being an upstander is a choice, just like being a bystander is a choice. But doing or saying nothing implies that you agree.
No, I didn't. I'm sorry. I didn't know. How about we ask Terry if he wants to have lunch with us today? I heard the move to our school has been pretty rough on him. Yeah, I think you're right. I'll delete the video too.
Teach. By the example of how you live your life. I cannot call myself an upstander if others do not witness me as such. An upstander will act when he or she witnesses injustice.
Hey, what are you?
Ask, do you know the implications of the abuse you just witnessed? When you witness injustice, will you choose to be an upstander?
What are you? Hey, leave them alone. We don't do that around here. We're better than hate.
Teach by the example of how you live your life.
Does anyone here know what an upstander is?
Well, wow, that's quite an act to follow. Thank you, Jen, for highlighting all these wonderful grant recipients just now. It's just amazing what a bunch of women coming together can do. So hi, everyone. I'm Linda Riley, Membership Chair for IWCF. And none of these grants would have been possible without all of you contributing your time, talent, and treasure to make this possible to these organizations, as well as so many more through our IGDs. So my role tonight, since we're combining the annual meeting and the anniversary celebration, is to recognize at the anniversary party every year, we recognize people who have reached milestones with the organization. So usually we have a party, we invite them all up, we take a picture, etc. And this year, since we weren't able to get together to give each other hugs and toast each other, we are going to recognize them here tonight. And each of these members has received a little tchotchke of some sort from us, just to show a symbol of our appreciation for their membership. So I would like to get started with our one-year members, and please, on the outset, forgive me if I mispronounce your name. We have so many wonderful members, and I may not know all of the pronunciations. So our one-year members are Catherine Bearwald, Lacey Klein, Emily Elliott, Carrie Fisher, Claire Hendricks, Hannah Murphy, Lynn Neal, Christine Tiddens, Kim Shansby, Susan Whiting, and then a few whose photos I wasn't able to acquire: Marianne Arnold, Sharon Bixby, Teresa Broadus, Zoe Brunel, Kathy Coleman, Karen Koppas, Nancy DeMoro, Ken Elliott, Janet Gallimore, Kelly Givert, Carolyn Kiefer, Mary Kreisenbeck, Marcy Lingo, and Amy Lombardo. Denise McClure, Diana Parker, Sandy Parks, Christine Pickford, Rachel Pisquet, Erica Sarazola, Trina Szymanski, Melissa Shively, Audrey Smith, Becky Verity, Chris Westwater, and Susan Whiting. Thank you all for joining us this year as one-year members, and we sure hope you'll be back to continue with the work of IWCF. And now we're going to move on to the next level, which are our three-year members, including Ellen Crosby, Jennifer Dunmeyer, Leslie Freeman, Molly Gunther, Teresa Lasandro, Amy Little, Martha Lund, Arlene McCarthy, Alita Sales Pottinger, Beth Bartlett, Valencia Bellew, Marilyn Bischoff, Tammy Casper, Sandra Coronado, Shelley Costa, Trinja Dell'Aglio, Sarah Green, Linda Hughes, Kristen Linsmeyer, Connie Lipashek, Ashley Myers, Abby Parker, Susan, and my screen is blocked, Susan Piper Gray, Marlene Reynolds, Beth Shatton, Lori Smith, Tammy Vakahasi, and Christina Ward. Thank you so much for your 3 years of membership. And now we're going to 6-year members, including our president, Christine Avey, Pam Bernard, Amy Duque, Carol Covington Hackney, Patty Eli, and Cease Lojek. And this was a great opportunity, by the way, to get all these wonderful photos that we're going to now be able to add to the directory, as an aside. Susan May, Janelle McGill, Leanne Moore, Mardell Nelson, Michelle Nenov, and Christine Ball, Marsha Blackman, Keely Duke, Tammy Joplin, Kimberly Maloney, Jody Reynolds, Judy Seacrest, Myrna Stamen, Kathy Strange, Carrie Workus, and Sarah Woodley. Thank you for being 6-year members. And moving to our 10-year members, we have Janice Fulkerson, Mary Holden, Minnie Patton,
Daria Pori, Lisa Reed, and Mary Ryman. Also Jan Reiner, Mary Slaughter, Susan Tabb, Glenda Talbot, and Michael Ward. And finally, Margie Babcock, Tonya Ginkle, Sandra Hackborn, Sharon Hansen, Mary Holden, Jane Houston, Stacy Nolan, Lisa Rendon, Karen Rutke, and Doris Talbot. And one more note on the 10-year members is we, every year, we add the 10-year members to our decade plaque. And so we are continuing that, and I wanted to just give you a shot of the decade plaque that we added the 2020 decade members to. So thank you all, and you'll live on that plaque. And then finally, our last level, and I just have to say, I love that we get to recognize so many people that have been involved for so long. So our 15-year members include Carolyn Casey, who I know is on with us tonight, Lisa Cooper, Lisa Derrick, Margaret Gorison, Bernadine Marconi, Diane, I'm gonna mess this up, Michael Gard, Marge Reedy, Caroline Sagoda, Nicole Lagas-Tolti, I'm sorry, Nicole, Ann Allen, Susan Berry, Gail Chalfont, Dawn Christensen, Claire Dwyer, Frances Ellsworth, Elizabeth Franklin, Diane Cushlin, Christine LaRocco, Paula Warren, and Sean Del Ursa. Thank you all so much for this commitment of membership that you've made over time. We just can't thank you enough, and we could not fund these wonderful grants without your support. So moving on, I wanted to share with you some of our upcoming events. And in light of course, the recent times, we've gone to giving you some more virtual opportunities, and we thought we would take this time to really offer more different things that might appeal to different people. So please come to the ones you'd like, invite friends that you think might be interested, and it gives them an education or information or just a fun time, depending on what it is, and it gives them a little bit of an insight to what IWCF is, and they may like to join us. And just kind of an aside, as somebody who works in nonprofit herself, as much as this is a time where so many people are really impacted personally by COVID, there are others who gratefully are not, and they actually want to lean in more. So I think, some of these things are ways for us to give them a way to learn how they can help in the community as well. So consider that when you are thinking about people that you might invite to some of these. So Sherry Bithell and her education committee have some education events planned, one coming on September 30th, Feeding the Hungry, a webinar, and then on October 28th, Working Together During the Progressive Era. And then she and I will be working on a event for January, so that is to be determined. And then our aforementioned earlier new committee, DEI, is doing an unconscious bias training for conscious philanthropists. And this is something they just ran a pilot with their own committee, and they've tweaked it to make it even better. And it's nice to see that there's an interest in it, because our September offering is full, but we have 2 more offerings, and they are going to offer it as long as they'd love to see the entire membership get this training. And as we can see from that last video, it's still needed in our community. So the more we can learn how to be better citizens, the better. So they're going to offer that as long as there is an interest and members who haven't taken it. So we like that. And then finally, we have one more slide of events. We have some other virtual gatherings that we're working on. On October 20th, we're going to be able to see an Opera Idaho performance. And Laura Simic and Vicki Krameyer are members, and they're also involved in Opera Idaho. They're going to help with this session to introduce a performance, and we'll have some Q&A and a little bit of social time for that as well. And then in November, we're going to be working with Carolyn Casey on a self-care and compassion workshop that will also be something that members might be interested in on November 17th. planned giving workshop is going to happen. And then in December, we're going to come up with a holiday entertaining share and social, and more to be shared about that. We're working with Linnea and her events committee to bring that to you in lieu of our usual holiday party. We have, for our 1 to 3 year members, a couple of new member orientations, the next one coming up on November 17th, and then again on February 9th. So thank you for your attention to all that information. And I just encourage you to attend some of these and invite your friends. And now I'm going to hand it back to Christine.
Thanks, Linda. All right, look at that. We are like minutes early. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for being a member. Thank you for sticking it out with us and remaining engaged. I mean, we are doing so much good, and it's good in the community. It's good, good for one another, frankly. I think we're here to support one another. You know, Carolyn doing a training on self-care. I think during these times, we feel good helping others, and that's what our organization is all about educated philanthropy. And just please, thank you for being a member. Thank you for attending tonight, and thank you for all that you do. I really, really wish I could see all of your faces. I really, truly cannot wait until, I think we actually have a venue reserved for our next annual meeting in May. So I know for sure we'll be seeing you then, but hopefully before then we'll see one another in person. So until then, take care and please stay well. And thanks again for all your support. Good night.